I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning. All right.
I'm up.
Woohoo. Okay, I'll make a motion. The Board of Commissioners approves the September 21st, 2023 regular meeting minutes.
And I will second.
Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes?
Mike?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes.
Human Resources.
Good morning, ma'am.
How you guys doing?
Good.
Just have just a few
Looking
items.
good?
Not much this week, so.
You're up, Miss Sabrina.
Oh, excuse me. In accordance with section 305.30 of the Ohio Revised Code and the Board's Resolution 21-0396, Part 9I, the Board of Commissioners acknowledges and approves the County Administrator's approval to authorize the internal posting for 7 days and then an external posting of a bargaining position for wastewater treatment plant operator in training for the Portage County Water Resources Department.
Second.
Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes.
Okay. The Board of Commissioners makes a motion to approve the anniversary and probationary step increase for the following non-bargaining employees. Samantha Payne, maintenance.
Second.
Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes. It's nice seeing you this morning.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
See you later. Shannon,
Mine's
good
not
morning.
that short.
I know you're the,
Shannon.
Hi, guys.
but it's not a whole page, so I'm not
No,
sure for you.
it's pretty good, yeah.
Yeah.
I just want to discuss just two things before I do my project updates. There was discussion to put up a sign at the new EMA to say future site of emergency management agency funded by ARPA.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Is that good? Am I
Yeah.
okay to just
I
move
think
forward?
that's perfect.
I'm just gonna get it from our local sign.
Such a, yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I don't know.
You don't wanna do it?
you want neon?
Yeah, let's get a flasher.
You want me to make
Yeah,
it like a
but
yellow?
I think that's exciting. Because people need to know that.
Yeah.
It's from that special funding we received.
Yes, and then I just
Everyone-
wanted to give you a quick update on the Ravenna Courthouse, the windows there.
Yeah.
We have a company, we just ordered them, but it's probably like 6 to 8 weeks out. We're trying to get a final date, so it's gonna be boarded up for a little bit.
Okay.
The
Forward,
windows.
yes,
I
gotcha.
think we should put like caution tape and like cobwebs, decorate it for Halloween.
Halloween.
There you go.
What do you think?
House of Horrors.
Okay, I
Did
just
I
want,
say
I just
that?
wanted to tell you that because we didn't talk about it previously. So.
Yeah.
Okay, now I have project updates.
All right.
You're welcome.
Not much red on the first page.
I know.
None.
No, well, we got one. So the maintenance garage, the repairs, those are still reviewed with the city. They're taking their full 30 days apparently because it's almost 30 days are up. So once we get approval from the city, we can move forward.
We need to change the windows and paint the.
Had to have drawings of it so we can, yep. So
Wow.
we're waiting on the city, so as soon as that's a go. Third page, oh, I stapled my thing. The Marks Towers radio, GPD, the consultant, is currently working on the specs for the construction, so hopefully we have a date for that shortly,
For the towers?
to construct both the towers and the shelters together,
Oh, okay.
so. And then the prosecutor windows, because of the additional work of the scaffolding taking so long to build and the approval, and the additional windows that we added, the project's gonna be complete now at the end of November. So,
Good.
you know, they're working like crazy around the
I stopped yesterday and they were in the street. And
Yep,
they
road
were-
closed, yeah, we
yeah.
have to keep notifying the city every time they do that, so, yeah.
Looks good though.
Yeah, they're doing a good job. Ravenna Courthouse, the parking lot, it continues to the next page. All but the handicap spots will be available to be used, and we're gonna be able to use it by next, I think next Monday, right? Is that the second?
Yeah.
Because we still have to add the ramp and the stairs that go down. So you know that high area you keep asking?
Yeah.
We're gonna put stairs that go down on each side there.
Oh.
Because it's too steep for a ramp.
Yeah. So the entrance is going to be right in the center of the two parking lots to get into the
There's
parking lot?
two Yeah, it's on the
So, and then it
sides.
comes right, they're on the sides?
Yeah, they're on
One
the,
on each side.
one on each side, one's on.
Yeah,
don't
but
I
it's
say-
right in the middle of the two parking lots.
Yes,
the
yes, yes,
paving
yes,
that
yes,
we did there,
mhm.
okay.
Yes, but I just wanted you to, so we're wanting to open it up, so that they can, we stop parking at the church and,
And then the ramp and the steps you're putting, the ramp is gonna be, handicap's gonna be on that side?
yep, so I'm verifying that, I'm actually meeting with the, architect tomorrow,
Mhm.
out there at 10
Oh,
o'clock,
good.
just to talk, cause I'm like, I wanna see how this is really gonna go, I'm so visual about it, I can see it on paper, but I really wanna see
Mhm.
what he's talking about. And then, we have the landscaping that's still gonna have to be put in, but
Yeah.
that's not gonna hinder anybody from parking.
That's cool.
So, and then the light poles are on delay. They've been on order and back order from the company that they ordered them from. The existing ones that we already have there are gonna go back in, but we're putting additional lighting in there, 2 additional lights in there, and those are the ones that are on back
Good,
order. 'Cause
good.
it's so
It
dark
needed
there.
it, yeah.
But it's still gonna be till December, so.
Okay.
Yep, okay, and then the carpet, Judge Rubik should be complete by the end of, this is at the Ravenna Courthouse still, sorry guys. It should be complete by the end of October, beginning of November, just for scheduling purposes. Claire's been working with Nicole Jones on that. Judge Poland is complete and it looks great. And then Magistrate Smith should be done by the end of next week, so we're moving along.
Cool.
So, and everything's looking nice, but with Judge Doherty, she's getting chairs, so that's a little bit of a delay, cause we have to work with the people that are installing the chairs as well. And that's all I have
Very
right
nice.
now.
Alright. The Board of Commissioners agrees to enter into amendment number 1 with the Portage County Jobs and Family Services and Family and Community Services, Inc. to provide Ohio Early Intervention Services Coordination and Outreach Services.
Second,
Roll call.
Sabrina,
Yes.
Mike,
yes.
Tony.
Yes.
The Board of Commissioners agrees to enter into an amendment number 2 for the Child and Adolescent's Needs and Strengths Assessment Plan Services with Portage County Jobs and Family Services and Coleman Professional Services, Inc.
Second,
Roll call.
Sabrina,
Yes.
Mike,
yes.
Tony.
Yes.
The Board of Commissioners agrees to enter into a sub-grant agreement with Portage County Jobs and Family Services and the Northeast Ohio Consortium Council of Governments for Ohio Means Jobs Center Operator Services.
Second,
Roll call.
Sabrina,
Yes.
Mike,
yes.
Tony.
Yes.
The Board of Commissioners agrees to enter into a sub-grant agreement with Portage County Jobs and Family Services and the Northeast Ohio Consortium Council of Governments for Ohio Means Jobs Center Operator and Adult and Dislocated Worker Services and Special Grant Programming.
Second,
Roll call.
Sabrina,
Yes.
Mike,
yes.
Tony.
Yes.
The Board of Commissioners agrees to enter into a contract with the Portage County Regional Planning Commission for administration of the 2022 CDBG Target of Opportunity Downtown Buildings BD 22-1CJ-1 Program Grant Funds.
Second,
Roll call.
Sabrina? Yes.
Mike,
yes.
Tony.
Yes.
Board of Commissioners agrees to amend Resolution 23-0517, authorizing a request to enter into an agreement with Hazenstaub Architects for the preparation of plans and specifications and estimate of costs for Project Portage County 23-100 for the Portage County Water Resources Building Improvements.
Second,
Roll call.
Sabrina,
Yes.
Mike,
yes.
Tony.
Yes.
The Board of Commissioners authorizes the Portage County Engineer to execute local public agency agreement number 39889, PID number 119531, with the Director of the Ohio Department of Transportation for the project known as the replacement of Old Forge Bridge, County Road 82, bridge over Breakneck Creek in Ritztown Township, Portage County, Ohio.
Second,
Roll call.
Sabrina,
Yes.
Mike,
yes.
Tony.
Yes.
The Board of Commissioners authorizes the Portage County Engineer to execute local public agency LPA agreement 39891, PID number 119501, with the Director of the Ohio Department of Transportation for the project known as the replacement of Newton Falls Road, County Road 177, bridge over the West Branch of the Mahoning River in Paris Township, Portage County, Ohio.
Second,
Roll call.
Sabrina,
Yes.
Mike,
yes.
Tony.
Yes. Thank you, Miss
Thank
Shannon.
you.
Alright. Moving right along.
Morning, ladies. Come on up. So I was looking for you. You were hiding back there.
I am hiding. I have a guest coming. I don't have John ready but I'll start without him. How is everybody?
Good, you?
Good.
Hanging in there.
Good.
went to Texas and I think I had a cold.
You go see your daughter?
He did.
Why you gotta bring it to us?
I'm sorry.
I found one
I
under-
stayed home and rested a little
I
bit.
found one under Rory yesterday afternoon too.
Yeah.
I'm
So,
good.
I'm gonna start with our data report, July, August. Some things that I thought, you would draw your attention to. On page 1, under public assistance for Medicaid, we see a decrease of about 500 recipients, and you know, we're still doing the Medicaid unwinding project because of COVID, so that's why I think we're seeing, excuse me, a decrease. You do see an increase in calls for net transportation, non-emergent transportation services. So we saw from July to August about 50 people, 50 increase, 44. On page 2 in public assistance, you see a significant increase in the amount of calls that came into our customer service center, about 1,000 more.
Yeah.
If you can recall, in August, we had that big storm. A lot of people lost power and lost food assistance, so they applied for emergency food benefits, and I think, or the administrator believes the increase in calls was to follow up on what do we need to do in the application, so.
Do we help them?
We do. The federal government gives us an opportunity to give them a new allotment. They have to itemize the food that they lost, and then they get a one-time reissuance of benefits. to
That's
be-
good, cause that
yeah,
was horrible.
it was horrible storm.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I don't see anything else in public assistance unless you had questions. I was gonna move on to workforce. And in that space, just on page 5, we are being funded as a pilot project with the state under Benefit Bridge to serve 50, and we're up to 31 participants right now. So I just wanted to draw your attention to that.
Good.
And then the Child and Adult Protective Services Division, we have 185 kiddos in our custody as of the end of August. If you look at the end of July, and we can continue to include that data, I haven't typically, they broke down 30 PC and 2 PPLA, and that means we have 30 kiddos in permanent custody and 3 kiddos in a planned permanent living arrangement. So that means those kids won't reunite with their families, so we're either gonna look to adopt or they're gonna emancipate from our custody. So that's the breakdown of those kiddos that you see. So if you'd like, I can have those included in the data every month.
Yeah,
That'd be worth it, yeah. And then I didn't see anything different, or significantly different in child support, nor staffing, or, we're all over the place with staffing, but it's not significant. So, any questions on the data report?
No, ma'am.
Okay. All right, then I just had 2, community updates. So it's a collaborative, of course, but we're helping to facilitate the follow-up transportation forum. And that's to be held, at Reed Memorial Monday, October 16th. We sent out this second flyer and asked for RSVPs, and so they're coming in. That's to continue the discussion on the transportation and security in our community. Then the next is a brand new program. We had this before COVID with Stark State. They offer STNA training, so we know that we need home health workers in our community. So we're gonna try to interface with this program and build an internship program for these Portage County residents that are working to get their STNA. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention. And then I think my next topic is just a discussion with Mr. Vanetti. If you wanted to.
Come on up.
How are you?
Good morning, how are you this morning?
everyone? Good morning.
Good.
Good to see everyone.
You as well.
Thanks.
So we absolutely have a placement crisis issue in Ohio and in the country relevant to finding right placements for kids, especially those that have really complex needs. And kiddos that have developmental disabilities diagnosis fit into that pot. Right now, we have a kiddo in our custody that was qualified through the Board of DD on a waiver. And the waiver allows him to have, he has one-on-one staff with him all the time, just because of his special needs. Sometimes he acts out, sometimes he runs away. Sometimes that could be waivers 2-on-1, 3-on-1, so it just depends on the needs of the kids. When this kiddo came into placement, he and his, he came into our group home, but we, in a very small window, recognized his needs were so great, which is why we applied for the waiver and we secured it. So, John can talk about what his team did, but they established emergency type of a shelter program with Buckeye in Portage County.
Oh, Buckeye Residential.
But
Yeah,
this,
we have it.
but this kiddo was placed here under the auspices of it being emergency and that we would need to find longer term placement for him. And so we've revisited the conversation recently just to say what's out there. And we had a couple options, one being a group home with older individuals in it, which we didn't think was in this child's best interest. And the other one was an idea that started from your department about the apartment.
Okay.
Buckeye.
Buckeye had moving them out into the
Mhm.
apartment.
So the waiver follows the child, and so they approached JFS and asked, would we be open to signing a lease for an apartment to place this child in? So JFS, Board of Commissioners, JFS would sign the lease, and the waiver would follow the child, and that individual or individuals would be in that apartment with that child 24/7.
How old is this child?
17. The so I'm supporting it and hoping you do too. Because I brought up the placement crisis issue, if we were to have another child in the situation that comes into care that qualifies for a waiver that does need that one-on-one again or two-on-one, we would have a infrastructure for which to have that future children move into. So that's the win-win for us, that we're not trying to place kids in environments outside of our community, which that's what we're finding lots of time with kids with special needs, is that it's long distance, sometimes even out of Ohio.
Tennessee last year. Right?
Tennessee, we had a kid last year we placed in Tennessee, so John can talk about his services, but that's what we're doing.
Did I just hear you want to keep this apartment permanently?
Yeah,
That's what I thought I heard.
yeah.
So I have a question. So they're qualified for waiver,
Right.
but since he's underage, is he still under our custody? Okay,
Till
so
18?
Or
Till
beyond.
18?
Beyond, it can be
So
with
developmental-
kids up to
with
21.
With
21.
developmental disabilities,
yeah,
right?
21.
Yeah,
Okay.
and so Buckeyes, we have a contract with Buckeye, 2 different contracts with them. One is for a home in Kent that we can have 2 kids staying there, living there with the staff, and then 2 respite beds. And so I think we got a little out of whack, so we're up to 3 now, right now. So we're trying to move the one child out so that'll open up slots for emergencies and planned respite, because we're supposed to be planned respite as well for families that need a break, to also keep families together, keep people in Portage, so that we don't have to do these out-of-home placements as well. We have another facility-based one that they do on their 2nd floor of their workshop, and that one is like Wednesday through, well, they actually just changed it. It's gonna be Tuesday through Saturday. It was Wednesday through Sunday, and they go there from 3 to 9. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then Saturday it's more of an all-day, like a 12-hour time. Again, to give the parents respite and those type of things. And so what Kelly Jo is saying, when we had those discussions, I don't know if you were even there when we had them with Buckeye, is that they can help us, but also help their own programs, because we might get situations where families or kids need to, that one home isn't enough, right? So, and if they're able to, and if they're able to staff it, it could be other places. And so I think that's what Kelly Jo's asking in this particular situation, is that move them out of that home into another place. It's unusual because it's a kid, as far as, having their own apartment. So that's why I think Kelly Jo's coming to you.
But it's
It
gonna
would
be
be our apartment.
24/7
Right,
supervision.
correct.
though,
Absolutely.
right, you'd have to with a kid.
Yeah.
What happens when a child turns 21?
So when he turns 21, Kelly Jo will be out of it, but the waiver will still follow.
Falls to you?
Yeah, the waiver is lifetime, unless for what strange reason they would get disenrolled, but that's highly unlikely. It's almost never.
We would have to secure different housing then at
Right.
that point.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And so at that point, then the child would have his own, be an adult and have their own Social Security. And so the waiver doesn't pay, that's the one thing, the waiver doesn't pay for rent,
Room and board.
utilities, room and
No,
board.
it's just the
It's
direct
just
care.
the staff, right, as you know.
That's
doing it.
huge. That's
Right,
huge. It's 24/7.
Yeah.
It
yeah.
is. And so for us, if you think of it from a cost savings standpoint, it can correlate to cost savings, because if it's facility, then we're paying full per diem
Right.
versus waiver, and we're paying, you know.
It's 40% of the total cost,
Yeah,
around
around-
36 to 40%. So, you know, so if it's 100,000, we're paying 36, and that's combined, and that could be JFS, us, and mental health and
Board.
recovery. So it could be split amongst the three of us with the waiver. So the waiver draws down the state dollars,
Yeah.
and they cover that other 64 to 60%. So that's why the waiver is beneficial.
When we do have situations short-term, like we've had where kids have had to sleep in our building, it also
Yeah.
provides an option. If there's a two-bedroom, that we have a space for staff and kids to go, and versus, not that we've not tried to make an accommodation here, but it's not the appropriate place to have kids while we look for placement. So I think it opens an opportunity for us to not have kids, in our agency, yeah.
In that area. In my mind, it's no different than we have the group home. I mean, we basically we lease that property to provide, except this is more extreme because it's not like this individual could be just placed anywhere.
Right.
So, and then of course, once you get the lease, well, the prosecutor will look at it and go through the process, but.
I did confer with David Brode just because I was coming here,
Yeah,
and he said
yeah.
exactly the same thing. We already have that structure with our group home that we lease, and
Yeah.
that there would be nothing legally that would
Nothing,
prevent us.
no
other-
more liability. I mean, we're responsible for the child anyways, he's
Yeah.
under our care. So I would be in favor of it.
That's what we do with for the house in Kent. We pay the lease, pay the rent, all that for that one as well. So
Okay.
similar situation.
Is there kind of a figured dollar amount on this?
So they, Buckeye found a landlord, and I believe Kent, but we didn't do anything because I wanted to talk to you all first, so we need to tour it and get that data, but I would say we wouldn't want to support anything like above $1,000 a month. And we would want to ensure what utilities are cost efficient and it's in a decent place. So I could bring that back to you if you'd like, once we've
Yep.
kind of
Yeah,
hone
so
in on
know
one.
that really what's going
Yeah.
on. Yep.
Okay.
Any other questions or?
No, sir.
So just
Yeah,
to,
We're
we're all in favor?
We're all in favor of doing.
Yeah.
doing-
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming out,
Thanks
John.
for having me.
Thank you, good to see you.
Good seeing you.
Jen.
Take care. Good seeing everyone.
Good collaborative effort, thank you. Hi,
So-
Sue.
Hello, how are you guys?
Hold 2 seconds.
No, I got maybe 3 today.
What?
I know.
I only
So
have
I didn't know if you had any questions on the intercounty transfer. This is the agreement we made, that I would report this out once a quarter on what our transfers were from from us to other counties or vice versa. So if you look at it, we made out, probably what, 243,000 in the good
Yeah, here it
on
is.
these transfers.
Yeah.
So, I don't know if we need to do anything with that, if you have any questions.
And we're gonna also be transferring some funds, that we heard about yesterday at NOCCOG.
Yeah, normally that doesn't come through me, that goes through Craig if they're gonna.
Does it?
Yeah, if they're
Okay.
gonna do that, and
Okay.
he does those transfers, yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
And then my actual transfer is just my regular shared transfer for the month of August for child support.
Okay. All right. I'll make a motion to transfer from Fund 1414 Child Support Administration to Fund 1410 Public Assistance Fund.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Sabrina,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Tony.
Yes.
Okay, on
That's
that
it?
note, I do have one more thing I wanna bring up
Go ahead.
with Kelly Jo and Susan here. Yesterday, our new director at Leadership Portage County is interested in pursuing the youth program,
Mhm.
starting in January. And so, and Sue knows,
I
yeah,
told
you
her.
probably
I
haven't
told
even
her.
had a chance to.
No, I told her.
Oh, yeah, jet lag over here, yeah, and I think, and I don't wanna speak out of turn, but would we be in favor, remember we declined it the last time due to the situation. The new director
Go
wants
ahead
to
and
apply.
refresh me, please.
Okay, go ahead, Sue, and just.
So it's our leadership entrepreneurship service for the OMJ.
Okay.
And originally, Leadership Portage County had bid on those services
Gotcha.
through an RFP.
Got it.
But then leadership changed
Gotcha.
at leadership.
Yep, got
And
it.
so they sort of put it on hold until she could get, or the new director
Got
could
it.
get in and get their feet.
Okay, very good.
Yeah.
And she's gonna meet with everyone to make sure, but she feels very confident that in January, she can start the pilot program for like half the year and then take it to full. And so it was presented yesterday at NotCog, that we set aside those funds until after she's met and that she understands the full scope of everything that would entail, and that she feels comfortable moving forward. So once that's approved through NotCog, then it comes back to us to approve. So I just wanted to make sure we're all on board that we would,
You good,
Mike?
Good.
yep, so,
Yep.
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 All right.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
A bit early. Is
5 minutes.
is Kelly Jo or Judge Gilletto here?
I saw a little thick out there.
I saw Vicky was here. Hey, Dan.
Morning.
I'll go check. Judge is up, yes.
Oh, she's up.
Okay. We can take them 5 minutes early.
I think you gave this.
God, you boogers. Oh my lord.
Where were
Can someone put the plexiglass
Huh?
back up?
That was not your house, man.
Jeez.
I didn't even touch your office door this morning.
Keep calm and sanitize.
You were.
Judge Leto, Belushi,
Hello.
front and center. You're up, ma'am.
All right, excellent, thank you.
Okay.
Morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
We're gonna go into executive sessions for those of you that are in the audience. In accordance with the Ohio Revised Code 121.22 G6, the Board of Commissioners moves into executive session to discuss details relative to the security arrangements and emergency response protocols for a public office, if disclosure of the matters discussed could reasonably be expected to jeopardize the security of the public office.
Second.
Roll call.
Sabrina,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Yes. And she's gonna close the door.
I can close the door.
No, she's.
no, I'll get it.
So she's
I'll make a motion to come out of executive session.
Second.
Roll call?
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Yes. No action. Judge, thank you very much for coming
Thank
in.
you, Judge.
Ms. Bellucci, thank
Mr.
you for coming
Prosecutor.
in.
Can I expect to hear something on that temporary in
Soon.
courtroom
Yeah, we'll,
area?
we'll
Yep.
discuss
Good,
that.
yep, thank you. I will reach out.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, have a good day, folks.
You too.
Thank you for your time.
Bye.
Ms. Kelsey, sorry to keep you waiting. Come on up. You're up, ma'am.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good.
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 Like
Hi,
your
Barb.
necklace. Oh,
Ooh.
you are silvery today.
s-
Glittery.
I'm dressed up for Celebrate Portage tonight.
Oh,
That's what tonight is.
That's why I'm dressed up. Or to see you guys maybe.
you're on.
Okay. Every year I come to ask for the set-aside money for my equipment fund. So I'm back this year to ask for the same amount, the $6.50 that I always have asked for last year. The only thing I am
Wait,
asking.
it got increased last year,
It
wasn't
got increased to
Yes.
$6.50 last year, so the same thing as last year. The only thing I was doing this year was requesting maybe for 2 years. I know you had mentioned last year, and I do know I can ask for 5 years, but I thought maybe we'd just go 2 years this time, so it doesn't have to be a yearly thing, to ask for the equipment fund. Still using it for the,
Yeah.
all my equipment that I purchase and all my contracts that I do for
By
the courses.
statute, you have what's the maximum? 850 or something.
For 5
Yeah.
years.
I'm fine with that.
You're gonna only wanna do it for 3?
2.
I asked for 2 this time. We could go for 5, I just didn't know, I just thought we'll just go for 2 and see
And see where we're
how
at.
it goes.
I'm good by that.
All right, I'll make a motion. The Board of Commissioners authorizes the document fee set aside for Portage County Recorder.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Thank you.
Thank
Have a great
you.
day, Lori.
Okay.
Water Resources, Dan, good morning. Sorry to keep you waiting.
Good morning.
Hi, how are you?
Oh, I'm doing well. Long day today.
Yeah. Dan,
All
before we
right.
get started, I have a quick question for you.
Sure.
Because I just saw they announced the project coming in up at Shaler's,
Excuse me.
up there at
Bless
the
you.
Turnpike Commerce,
Mhm.
which is the expansion of that building that was concerned about the usage
Right.
increase. Did you get that worked out with them?
Well, there was a
or-
T has been in contact
Okay.
with that company. The understanding was though, if this company comes in, they're pulling from the capacity of the overall water and sewer
Of the
usage
entire-
of the entire complex. So
Okay.
right now, we can accommodate that, but
They have to
just depending
understand
on
marketing
who
and
else they're
else.
pulling in addition to that, could cause, some issues.
And we
as long
haven't
as we're aware of
found
it,
a
we can-
workaround yet to
What-
try to,
I mean, we're in the process
Expand it.
of creating the water interconnect
Okay.
from Manaway down to the Schillersville area, and also we're in the process of trying to get that sewer connection so that we can send the wastewater up that way as well. So
okay,
all of it is in the
the
works.
works.
It's
Good.
just a matter
that's what I
of
wanted to hear.
getting everything.
About how long does that works take? 2, 3, 4 years, 5 years?
Well, and again, it depends on the level that they want to ramp up to. I mean, it's going to be years, no doubt about it, with the wastewater. And water, and again, as long as it's manufacturing, if we start getting into industrial pretreatment, that's beyond the scope of what
Then
we
they would
can-
have to have a,
They would have to process on
Process
site.
station.
Yeah. So that's, always our concern is just let us know what you want, and then we can come up with a game plan and give you a timeline as to when we can make that happen.
are the Geist people in contact with you about what they want, or do they even know what they want?
There's been some hiccups as far as communication. I think they start moving forward without reaching out to us. So, we keep trying to, touch base and say, hey, make sure you get in touch with us so that we, know
All be
what
on
you're
the
trying
same
to
page.
do. Right,
Don't
exactly. So-
Overpromise and underdeliver.
And that would be my recommendation, speaking with anybody regarding moving into that facility would be, make sure that you contact us.
And who
so
would
that
bore
we
the
can-
cost for that expansion?
That, I think, has been a combination of grants.
Mhm.
Geis has paid for they put in a 16-inch water main over the the front of their facility,
Okay.
and then they will cede that over to us once I think there's an agreement waiting to come across your desk at some point or another
Okay.
for that signed off. Then we'll inherit that 16-inch water main. They're still in the process of creating, I see they have a site put aside, but for a wastewater pump station.
Yeah,
To
yeah.
start pushing waste up to our wastewater
Mhm.
facility. So all of that's in the works, but, you know, they are paying for a good deal of that infrastructure. So.
Thank you. Sorry to get us off track, but
Oh,
I just
no,
saw
not a
that.
problem.
So I
And
wanted
that
to
is,
ask.
that's already in the plan with guys.
Yes,
and-
yep,
okay.
all of that's in motion, so we're there right now. I did wanna pass these out for you guys.
Sir.
So these are bullet points for the water rate study that we had earlier. We actually started this study clear back in 2022. It had started before I even started working here.
Mhm.
There's been a lot of detail poured into this rate study to make sure that we have a living document that we can update and see where we are pretty much at any time. So with that said, I wanted to kind of address some issues coming up. I mean, it's pretty clear after reviewing this rate study that we're gonna need to increase water rates, at least in my belief, that is the case. We haven't increased water or sewer rates since 2017, so we've had a good 6 years of a flat rate fee. And so one of the first bullet points I put there was what the CPI, you know, the inflation increase has been over the course of the years, and what that eventually comes out to over the course of that 6-year period, which is about over 24% increase. So while we've been bringing in relatively the same amount of revenue, our costs have been going up dramatically. And to touch on some of those costs, chemical costs, which are, I believe, our second highest expense for the Water Resources Department, just 1 year, in a 1-year contract, went up 20%. Boom. So that was a massive increase. Utility costs, electric especially, that's the priority, or the mainstay of what we utilize is electricity costs. That has increased over 12% in the last 5 years. And we do use natural gas as well, but much more electricity than the natural gas, but that's been factored in, both electric and natural gas. Our vehicle costs. I think I mentioned before, in 2020, we were able to purchase an F-250 for $31,000. This year's state bids were $68,000 for the same exact
Oh
vehicle.
my goodness. Wow.
So, and of course, that's our mainstay. That's what we use, our F-250. So our vehicle costs have gone up dramatically. Material costs, the price of sewer main, the price of water mains, you know, the price of valves and hydrants, everything has gone up dramatically. We have estimated project costs coming down the pike, and we have to constantly re-evaluate what those costs are, because if we had the estimate created a year ago, well, it's dramatically different than what it was a year ago. These costs keep going up. In some cases, like especially with the Manaway projects, we've seen a doubling of the cost of that project over the last 5 years. So it's just incredible increases all across the board. I did want to also submit some of the surrounding counties that are, I think, similar to us as far as what they provide as far as sewer and water, and the increases that they have had or scheduled to have in the future here versus, you know, where we're at right now. You know, Summit was looking at a 16-inch or 16% rate in 2022, 16 in 2023. You know, Mahoning County is 8% across the board for the next 5 years. You know, Trumbull County, again, double-digit increases. I don't think we need to do anything that aggressive, personally. I think that would be excessive.
Dan, you know, I remember years ago, we had in place a graduated increase,
Mhm.
like every year, like a gradual increase. And then that sort of like fell off, and then as you said, we haven't increased rates at all for 6 years. And I own properties in Summit, and I can tell you, yes, every year my water bill goes up and sewer bill, because it's together over there, goes up. And so from what I'm seeing and what I know, I think 7% is pretty reasonable considering everything has gone up. I mean, between labor, supplies, I mean, just equipment and stuff. I would be on board with 7%, which I think is pretty modest, looking at everything else. And yeah, no one's gonna be happy, but they're not gonna be happy when they don't have water or sewer, infrastructure goes wrong, and we don't have the money to fix it.
And I do feel over the years, and it's a different amount or a different type of stewardship. You know, a lot of the past directors have saved a considerable amount of money for water resources. But sometimes saving that money causes a degradation of our overall infrastructure. And we're at that point now where a lot of our infrastructure is beat up. Frankly, it should have been upgraded years ago. You know, more money should have been spent years ago to keep that equipment up to date. And honestly, I was a little bit shocked at the condition of some of our facilities. And so for me, that was one of my priorities. Let's bring our equipment back up to, you know, a working condition, especially now with the cost of replacement. You know, replacing an entire, you know, production facility for water, you know, you're talking $20-30 million. Why can't we just keep what we have in tip-top condition? So I've really been pushing on an asset management program, making sure that we're on schedule with, you know, replacing things as they start to wear out. And unfortunately, there are a lot of big projects coming down the pike that are all, you know, in the millions of dollars.
And those projects don't happen overnight, which then tends to increase cost. As you gave us the fine example of the truck. So this increase is not just because Water Resources wants to get fat and happy out there and build up their property. It's because we need to do it in order to sustain what we have.
And just as an aside, water alone, we're slated to build 3 water tanks over the course of the next 5 years. That's $6 a gallon per tank. Now, when you start getting into $250,000 or 250,000 gallons or 500,000 gallons, we're talking some big money as far as the creation of these water tanks. You know, the same thing with the Headworks project within Streetsboro. The Dryer project, which is $1.5 million, and we're utilizing a lot of those ARPA funds. And, you know, we're utilizing every grant we can get our hands on. But with that said, you know, our costs, when something breaks down, it's never cheap. You know, it's you know, 6 to 7 figures, possibly 8 figures, and having a war chest set aside, you know, in that event is not a bad thing, you know, so that we don't go into the red. You know, at this point, we are slated to go into the red across all of our. We're going to start losing money. Actually, we're going to be losing money every year, starting this year and moving forward until we start raising.
Well, the commissioner made a comment about 7%. Is that going to work?
So I believe, you know, and we played around. I worked with Jackie. We played around with our finances for quite some time, looking, you know, the initial recommendation by our consultant engineer was double digits. And I said, absolutely not. We are not going to hit our customers like that with a double-digit increase. I said, we have to come up with a different solution. So that's when Jackie and we sat down and we reviewed this, looked at what the impact would be, and tried to come up with a long-term solution that would hopefully gradually increase rates while additionally getting the resources we need to make sure that our facilities are at the best shape that they can be.
So the answer was yes?
Is that the second page?
I saw it.
And then the final thing I did want to bring up, I'm sorry,
You're okay.
we have 3 separate funds right now. We have a water fund, we have what we call our regional fund, which is essentially all of our wastewater facilities within the county, including the collections department, which is all of the network of piping and pump stations that actually push that sewage to the individual plants. It's very expansive. And then we have the 5600 fund, which is Streetsboro, which is separate from the other wastewater fund. I believe that that was the case. It was a separate fund because we got grants and funding from the federal government,
Gotcha.
and we had to keep that.
Of the tracking, the accountability.
Yes, we had to
correct.
keep that separate. Well, we no longer have to do that because we're not in debt.
Extinguished all debt,
Streetsboro
yeah.
is not in debt. We've paid off all of those loans and anything associated with that. We would like to consider recombining the 52 and 5600 fund into one fund so that it streamlines our operation. I think it'll help finance out tremendously. We don't know if it can be done, and so we would like to initially start off an investigation with a law firm that's used to doing this kind of thing and see whether or not it's even a viable option, whether or not we can make that.
I think for transparency, I think it would be good to combine them, because then everyone, if they look, they say, well, why is Streetsboro separate? When understanding in our world, a lot of times the grants, they want them separate, and it's better to do it that way for accountability for that specific grant. But once that's done, then normally we close those accounts, but I'm hearing you say we continue to leave it.
Yes,
open.
we have employees that are solely under the 5600 fund.
Yeah.
You know, we have, all of the infrastructure that's associated with Streetsboro goes into that 5600 fund. The utilities, everything is separate from the 5200 fund, which I believe ultimately, from an accounting perspective, it would make our life much easier to combine those two. And it'll also free up resources as far as having a pot here that we can touch and only use for this section, and a pot here that we can only touch and use
Yeah.
for this fund. If we can commingle
Combine
those
them.
funds, because ultimately they're accomplishing the same exact thing, which is providing sewer services for Portage
For our
County.
customer base, yeah. And Jackie, you're in line with that?
Mhm.
And you guys
Yeah,
are gonna just verify that?
Yeah, I think in the past it's been a challenge as far as like allowing them to combine them, so I think we just need to research
Research
why
and
not
see.
and.
Yeah, and there may be a good valid reason why we can't. But I would at least like to start the investigation, see whether or not it's possible, and whether or not you agree that is something that makes sense.
Yeah,
Sounds good.
sounds good. All right.
Anything else, sir?
I think that's it.
Thank you for coming in, man. Appreciate it. Jackie, you're up,
Thank
ma'am.
you.
Quarterly update, I love it.
Okay,
Tell
so.
me we're not broke yet.
Oh, we're in a good spot, cause we've been watching spending this year, so we're doing okay. So as far as DBFM's quarterly update, this is, so July, August, September, and then what's coming up in October. The 2024 tax budget was approved in July, and the appropriations budget season is coming up.
Yeah.
So, sorry for my squeaky voice. The beginning of October is the goal that we'll roll out the next level in Munis, and we'll put a message out to departments to enter their budgets, give them some guidance as far as fringe benefits rates and things like that. And then the goal is throughout October, departments will enter their budgets, and then around the beginning of November, we'll close that to departments, and then in November, December, we'll start discussing the variances to determine who has added money to their budget, for what reason, and then the board can start deciding what additions they're going to approve to budgets and what has changed. Also, we're working on the 2023 final budget projections, because there are some departments that are projected to be over, so we have to adapt, we have to figure out why they're over, and then how we're going to adapt to that. Right now I know of just a few, but I need to look at all the variances. As far as utilities go, the annual special assessments for the county utility bills, that's almost complete. We have, I believe, water and sewer done, and then we're finishing up recycling. It's just that over the year, the parcel numbers change, so it can get a little bit out of sync. So we have to get all of that in line so we can post it properly. So we're still working on that, but we're almost done. And Cheryl is going to the annual SSI conference. I think that's gonna be a good thing for her. She's gonna get some good training there, in October. As far as fleet management, Jerry is doing a great job continuing to work with departments on the fleet program and
Good.
digging into the details of it so we can really get our value out of that and make sure we're doing things, you know, in the best interest of the county to save money and do things efficiently. And on the grant side of the house, in August, we hired a grants coordinator, Alicia, so that's exciting, and she's been doing a great job. We completed the second quarter ARPA report, and the next quarter ARPA report is coming up in October, so it'll be due at the end of October. In a few days it'll open up, so we keep refining it each time, so I think Alicia's gonna be really helpful in
Good.
getting that tightened up this time. And we completed all the contracts for the food pantry funding, and the majority of the food pantries have been requesting reimbursement, and it's
Good.
going smoothly, it's
Good.
going really well, so. So
Excellent.
I think that's it for my quarterly update.
Nice.
So what's our carryover looking like for next year?
Right now, it looks like about 15 million, but there's also a set aside that's taken out for payroll when we cross over the years. That's about 2 million. So right now it's looking like 13 million, but there's a lot that can change in that time frame.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Okay, all right. Did anyone have any questions before I start reading the journal entries on anything?
Did you do something to your hair?
Weeks.
It looks nice.
We're gonna move on.
Okay.
That's an old story.
In accordance with section 305.30K of the Ohio Revised Code and this board's resolution 21-0396 and this board's resolution 21-0878, the Board of Commissioners acknowledges and approves the county's administrator's approval to. I'll make a motion to direct the auditor's office to pay process the September 21st, 2023 bills, ACH payments, wires, journal vouchers, and then announce as applicable, contingent upon the verification of the reports as presented by the county auditor and reviewed by the Department of Budget and Financial Management.
Second,
Roll call, please.
Sabrina,
Yes?
Mike,
yes.
Tony.
Yes.
I'll make a motion to process the September 21st, 2023 budget amendments as reviewed and recommended by the Department of Budget and Financial Management.
Second,
Roll call.
Sabrina,
Yes.
Mike,
yes.
Tony.
Yes.
Good to see you.
Right, thank you.
Great seeing you.
Thanks, Jackie.
Could you, Morgan Stern and Ron just walked down the hall. Can you grab them?
Yeah. Jackie, are you gonna sit in on that conversation too, I hope? Okay.
They went to the right, that way.
You're on the right.
Depends on where she was facing.
I know.
All right, we're
She
ready.
turned around.
Yeah, I'd say go.
Yeah.
We're
Jackie
ready.
was talking so
Morning,
soft,
Brian.
and they
Morning,
just went around the
Sonny.
corner.
Morning, morning.
No, I think,
They were a little louder than Jackie. Thank you, guys.
good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Okay. Sorry for the delay.
We're making up time.
Yeah, we
7
are.
minutes behind.
Thank you. Want me to pass
You
it
really
around?
are.
Thanks, Ryan.
Make that time.
Just making sure.
Thank you.
Don't know what your knowledge or recollection on our inmate medical budget and expenses are.
I think you told us it wasn't good.
It isn't good.
Yeah.
I'll give you a brief history. Our new contract with UH started in September of 21.
21.
21, 22, I forget.
I think it's 22, but okay.
We didn't get any invoices from them for about the first 4 to 5 months. And when we did our 23 budget, we hadn't received quarterly invoices as well. In the contract, it allows for quarterly invoices for reconciliation of certain types of high-cost medical expenses, certain types of drugs, et cetera. So yes, we're paying a flat monthly amount, and we're also paying quarterly invoices. So when we did our '23 budget, we did not put in an amount to cover an unknown quarterly invoice, which is what we're kind of faced with right now in our shortages. If you look at that top page near the top, you can see 2022 first quarter, we didn't get until December of '22, obviously after the budget was submitted and approved. So during this year, we're gonna be paying 6, maybe 7 quarters worth of additional invoices over and above the monthly.
Have you got that straightened out with UH, or is that just the way they do it?
They're pretty much caught up. We have received the second quarter of this year so far, have not received the third quarter as it hasn't ended. So I have an estimate
Okay.
in there. So we're looking at a shortage between the monthly and the quarterlies and what our budget was of close to 400,000.
Total inmate expenses, 2.2 million?
Yes.
Jackie, what did we have budgeted for that?
I believe
18,
Was
16.
it 1.8?
Yeah,
1.8.
1.8.
1.8 million.
1.8.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, we have to keep in mind also when we look at this that, and I'm sure you're aware, but other people out there may not be, that we could be in a situation that we're in right now with an inmate that's in the hospital and it's jacking up every day. And
Big.
you know, we tried to, and I know the jail staff and the lieutenant and sarge have been working at trying to fix that, but there's no fix.
It's
I was gonna say, I'm gonna pipe
You have
in
no
because
choice.
it
Yeah.
kind of, this is a water bill.
You know,
so we say.
and I
This
feel
is-
bad.
It's a big water bill, nobody likes it, but it's higher than
Yeah.
it normally is.
Yeah.
Inmates'
And
medical
it's
costs.
based on usage, and you have
Yeah.
no way to predict it.
Yes, you guys entered into a contract with UH, which is great, because I'm gonna tell you, when they go for these off-site, medical expenses, whether it be oncology or the immunocompromised stuff, the stuff that costs big money that they're gone for, UH bills UH at cost, and then it gets reconciled through the county quarterly. Any other way, it would be
Double.
more than, yeah, I was gonna say,
Yes,
so
more than double.
we've chiseled it, and I assure you that when somebody goes out to off-site hospital or off-site medical treatment, from the jail's point of view, we're looking at it first thing, what are they here for? Is it something that we can mitigate some of the factors? But without violating anybody's HIPAA's rights about specifics, in
Yeah.
a meeting, I'm gonna tell you that what we're talking about are people that we couldn't let go for one
Yeah.
reason or another.
Yep.
Whether it be chronic illness and factor that with the crime or their PR, it ain't gonna be.
Well,
it
yeah,
ain't
and
gonna
I
be good
don't,
to say we're gonna let them go.
I don't
just
think
because-
that any of us think that if you couldn't do it, you wouldn't.
Yeah.
So, you know,
No, that's not it at all.
This, to me, this is one of those ones you guys have no control over,
You really
regardless of
don't.
what
You
your
really
budget
don't.
is. Yeah,
And UH.
with the deal you got.
I know, remember, I don't know if all of you remember when we had another company, and then we went out to bid and we got UH at the table. Well, the other company was supposed to carry for a while and then take over. That didn't happen, they left, and UH said, we're not gonna leave the county stranded, so they stepped in ahead of time and didn't leave nobody stranded and really came to the table for us.
Yeah.
And that's part of the problem why they weren't set up to
Okay.
do all the building and everything yet, so to Ron's point,
So
that
that's
led
why
to some of that initial.
Delay.
Yeah, and they were like, we know we'll get paid eventually, so they didn't ask for any money until they
They're
got it all
not worried.
figured out.
Yeah. But unfortunately, it makes it very
It ma-
hard
it
for
makes it very hard to
us.
budget,
Yes.
I will say.
So as long as I know we're back on track,
Yes.
I don't have to call Benoit,
yeah.
then,
And I actually talked to Brian Adams yesterday, that he said if there was questions specifically about whether there was cost, that could have been, they're more than happy to have
Yeah.
those conversations with the
But
commissioner.
for last that you spoke, there was pretty significant healthcare issues that.
And they still are going on, I'm
Yeah,
not
yeah,
gonna,
no,
I'm not
yeah,
gonna sugarcoat
yeah.
it, they're still there, and they're
Yeah.
still in custody, some of them have been there for over a year.
and they could still
Some of
come
them-
in.
And
Yes, it's
to the-
tomorrow.
to the
Everyone's a
point I
potential.
mentioned last week about one that was in Cleveland,
Yes.
that one's gonna be very costly.
Jackie, do you have
Nothing I can
anything
do
you wanna
about it.
add or comment on to this?
So I guess, I mean, like, for this instance, I think, you know, this is maybe a one-off where we can look in the general fund to find the budget. But I guess my question that I was just wondering, like, how are the bills reconciled? Can you make sure that they're billing, that they're not overbilling or billing for something that we don't?
So they send it to
know?
Ron, and Ron gets additional data, and then we look at it to verify that it is for the inmates that were actually sent out, and then that's how they reconcile it. Now, I will throw something else out, that I know he spoke to psychotropic drugs and MAT medications, those are also reconciled. But I know that we submit through OMOS.
Yeah,
and
we get reimbursed.
I was gonna say, but it goes back to the general fund, it didn't go into here to pay that, so there should have
Right.
been
If you look on your third page of the
80,000 or something
handout,
submitted for that.
we've received almost $97,000 this year.
Yeah.
For just the drugs.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah, there
there's
are
a
some programs out there
reimbursement.
to help with some of this cost.
So if we were to take that off, it's still 290
Yeah.
some.
So Jackie, what's, any
Well,
other
it-
comments?
So additionally, CCAO had mentioned that anything that's not Medicaid reimbursable
Mhm.
is a cost that we aren't necessarily on the hook for. So I don't know if, do we have a process to reconcile?
Say that, back that up and say that again, please.
So any service
Mhm.
that an inmate gets that's not Medicaid reimbursable, is not necessarily a cost that we have to foot the bill on. So
How do
I'm
we get the
wondering.
money for that if we don't foot the bill out?
Well, once they're incarcerated, the
Yeah,
Medicaid
so they don't get that,
stops.
that's
Yeah,
the problem.
That's
it's
the
over.
problem, because we are,
Yeah,
the State Board of Commissioners, which I serve on, is really lobbying to the feds, because they should not cut them off. If they have it coming in, they should continue it while incarcerated.
wherever they get to live.
At
Yeah.
least locally, because they're innocent until proven
It's
guilty, so you're
huge
dealing
for
with inmates
us.
that are actually pre-trial. So they cut their Medicaid off when they get
As soon as they come in here,
to our door, and it becomes the
It's
county.
done.
I don't see how we have a
Stops.
choice,
Or
unfortunately.
are you saying if Medicare wouldn't pay for it, we shouldn't pay for it?
Right, so the service, are there excessive services?
Well, if somebody's
that-
getting treated
that
for
they might
cancer
be-
and it's costing a bazillion dollars to get that.
Yeah, we're not doing elective
Yeah,
options
this
over
is,
to
yeah, this
jail.
isn't, I get what the board would say, but this board can't live by that. If somebody's gotta pay the bill, or the hospital cut us off too.
Well, CCO just recommended it to Jackie, is there a process in place, and just take a look at that
Yeah.
process.
Just to make sure that the service that we're not, that UH isn't doing excessive services that we aren't aware of and we're being billed for, I guess.
You know,
I guess if you're asking who's combing the bill,
but you
I don't
guys have
know
a
if
process
anyone's-
in place from what you said earlier.
Yeah,
they
they
comb the bill,
they
but
comb
we
it through
have no
the-
one
the
qualified to look
contract
at the
that we
bill and
had,
say this
and
is
then they
needed and
reconcile.
this isn't.
So UH checks their own bills? UH reconciles?
UH is
But they
the
are
the
reconciled.
contract we have, technically it's UH that's doing the medical services at the jail. But when they go off, they're doing, whether it be UH in Cleveland, they're all under a different version of it, but when they bill it, it's combing through the UH contract that we have with them. And then it's reconciled by sent to Ron, and that's where they'll break down, they'll say, instead of amount, tell me what that's for. Right, and then there'll be a look at, well, what was that one for? Oh, that was for this person's hospital
Yeah.
stay and this
But
MRI.
they are checked.
Yeah.
So we're looking for the checks and balances, cause
Yeah.
we don't wanna have to increase UH's lease if they are doing that. No, I'm just kidding.
So the ask today is to cover the shortfall?
Yes.
And
Yeah.
Jackie,
I think I'll look in the general fund and find where we can pull it from, I think.
yeah, cause there might be in the other fund we can pull it from too.
Do we need a resolution for this?
I don't think so, can't you
I
just do a
think we
budget
can vote
amendment?
on it.
Yeah.
And she'll bring it back next week.
Yep.
I mean, if you wanna make a motion on last week's cameras and move that along too, I'll happy to take that.
We're not there.
That-
Poor Jackie's been sick.
Okay.
But Ron, you can do a budget amendment request, right? You guys can work
Yes.
together and
You-
get that
yeah.
taken care of for Ron.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, sounds
Yeah.
good. All right, thank you guys
We
for
got
coming
you.
in.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Now get out.
Yes.
Thank you,
Yes,
John.
sir.
So no,
And again, sorry for our delay.
Good to see you.
You guys too.
Yeah, have a good day. Alright, miscellaneous.
Alright, in accordance with ORC section 325.07, the Board of Commissioners acknowledges the receipt of the Portage County Sheriff's transporting report for August 2023 as presented by the Portage County Sheriff's Office.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes.
The Board of Commissioners acknowledge the receipt of the September 19th, 2023 certificate of the County Auditor that the annual appropriations from each fund does not exceed the amended official certificate of estimating resources for the fiscal year beginning January 1st, 2023.
Second.
Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes.
The Board of Commissioners acknowledge the receipt of the kennel disposition report and intake report for September 4th, 2023 through September 10th, 2023 as presented by the Chief Dog Warden Dave McIntyre.
Second.
Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes.
The Board of Commissioners acknowledge receipt of the kennel disposition report and intake report for September 11th, 2023 through September 17th, 2023 as presented by the Chief Dog Warden Dave McIntyre.
Second.
Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes.
The Board of Commissioners acknowledge the receipt of the September 18th notice from the Faith Lyon and Teresa Nielsen Portage County Board of Elections indicating that the Board of Elections will be open to the public in preparation for the November 7th, 2023 general election as follows. Tuesday, October 10th, Wednesday, October 11th through Tuesday, October 10th, it's 4:30 to 9 p.m. Wednesday, October 11th through Friday, October 13th, it's 4:30 to 5. Monday, October 16th through Friday, October 20th, it's 4:30 to 5. Monday, October 20th through Friday, October 27th, it's 4:30 to 5. October 30th, it's 7:30 to 7:30. Tuesday, October 31st, it's 7:30 to 8:30. Wednesday, November 1st through Friday, November 3rd, it's 7:30 to 7:30. Saturday, November 4th, 8 to 4. Sunday, November 5th, 1 to 5. Tuesday, November 7th, 6:30 to 8 a.m. and 4:30 until election complete. In addition to the hours listed above, the Board of Elections the Board of Elections will be open beyond regular business hours to conduct election official training on the following dates and times. Tuesday, September 26th, October 2nd, October 5th, and October 12th, it will be 5 p.m. until training is complete. Saturday, October 14th, it's 8:30 until training is complete. October 16th and October 19th, 5 until training is complete. October 21st, 8:30 until training is complete.
Second.
Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Good
Tony?
grief.
Yes.
Alright.
Okay. We have anything before?
I think you should take a
Recess?
break. 'Cause I know
Yeah, I've
it's
got a couple.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
Just a couple statements. I had requested a couple resolutions that weren't put on the ballot on our agenda, and I just want that noted.
What's that?
I put in a couple resolutions that were not brought today, and I just want that put on the agenda.
Which ones are they? Did the staff or not see them, or is there something?
I don't know.
You got them?
I don't.
Who has them?
I don't know.
Well, then that's my error. I will grab them. So, hang on just one.
We'll do it next week.
Actually, I have them right here. Oh, please.
Alright.
We can do them next week. There's no rush.
What do they have to do with?
Here are two.
Why don't we do all, if you're, there's three that you have?
Two, I think.
2, 3. So these
wanna
are
look at it?
cameras, and so we would like to introduce a few resolutions and relative to the Sheriff's Department. Resolutions for the cameras, resolutions for the radios, and a resolution for the software.
Were
If
those-
this board is ready to proceed. with passing a resolution, on those items?
No.
I'm not either. I think we should,
Jackie
that
was
was
agreement with
1.1 million extra, and I think that should go on 2024's budget.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, and
Put 'em
that's,
in there.
Yeah.
and that's my point.
Okay.
So it doesn't get underneath the chair
Doesn't get
and
lost.
forgot, right.
Yeah.
That it's an important for the safety of our jailers, and we just had one in, Lake County, a fight, that went on camera. So, I just don't want it to go by the wayside. If we can,
I think that we ought to be top of their priority for their budget for
Yeah,
2024.
for when they come in for the ask.
Yeah.
Cause I
Yeah.
looked at what, we've already spent
And I'm
like
okay-
1.5
I'm okay with
million
that.
on cameras and stuff for them and radios.
The radios is what bothers me, is
Yeah.
that they were
Well-
reallocated.
yeah, well, and we can figure that out, and I'll get on top of that when I'm,
Well, they already said what
I
they did
did
with them.
under-
I mean,
yeah.
They
that-
gave them to the specialty units and didn't give them to
Right.
the
jailers.
correction people, which it's problematic for
all
me.
right. My concern right now as we speak are the cameras,
Oh, yeah.
and that's the safety.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna, I think we're all on board and we understand the safety. It's unfortunately, a bad decision was made not to give them to who they were supposed to go to.
And we didn't make that.
No, we did
And
not,
that's what's bothering me.
but we understand the importance of safety, so therefore, we will have them, they're gonna have to put it in their budget request, which means they'll probably have to look at cutting something else. So, they need to start looking to see how they can help us with that.
But the board's not saying no, you're going
No.
to revisit it.
No,
That-
yeah.
That, I think,
So it's
out
tabled.
of everything that's budgeted, or whatever the SO office wants, that should be number one priority.
Okay.
And I thought it was that last year as well,
Yeah.
when we
Okay.
did that.
So just so you know, we're not gonna pass any resolutions this year.
No.
We're saying you need to put it in your budget process, which is, as you heard Jackie say, is gonna start next month. And that's where they need to put it.
And this one today, in my mind, it's nobody over there's fault
No,
or judgment.
No.
It was, this is just the way it is, and
yeah,
unfortunately. we have to
medical
live with it.
and
Yeah.
that type of thing,
Yeah.
just
And
nothing you
overtime,
can do.
I
No.
mean, it's a 24/7 operation. I
Yeah.
mean, we all get
So
that.
good?
Thank you,
Good, yes, sir.
appreciate it.
Do we have any public comment? Barb?
No.
You wanna
You got
speak to
nothing to
us?
say?
Nope, uncharacteristically so.
Can we recess until 11?
We can recess till 11, we've got 4 minutes,
2 minutes? I can do
or
it.
3 minutes.
Is there, oh,
No. Okay. We'll reconvene the Board of Commissioners. Is there any public comment?
No, sir.
No? Is there anything else come before the board?
No.
Make a motion to adjourn.
so
Second.
moved, or second?
Roll call.
Sorry, too late. I beat.
Tony,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Sabrina.
Yes.
Have a good afternoon.
Need to expedite this, Mr.
Bye-bye.
Speedo.